Welcome to the Honest to Godcast, podcast dedicated to learning the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'm your host, Stephen B. Hello, I'm your host, Stephen B., and welcome to the second part in our series, An Exposition of Amity Circle Tree Ranch. And as I mentioned in the previous video, today we're going to talk about corruption, and we're still using the B.I.T.E model to ascertain whether they're a cult or not. So I'm going to play another little section of a video. This is going to take a while. I've got their videos that I'm using on the Fair Use Act, and I have all of their literature, their receipts. We're going to go through this, and I'm going to, like I said before, I'm calling it an exposition because I'm going to expose some things. And so bear with me just a second, and I'll get back to the commentary in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
And Sheila Schrader grew up close to the border where drugs were available at every turn.
I actually ended up using heroin for the first time when I was 18.
She says she started using a very strong opioid and even continued through 2 pregnancies, exposing one of her daughters to a dark time in her life.
And the youngest one used to watch me fix. I used to fix right in front of her. I would have her guarding the windows, make sure nobody walk up on the car. Well, I would fix. I mean, I really got down there.
A DUI brought her to the treatment center.
I got here and there was a big sigh as soon as I came in.
Amity provides daily activities and curriculum for recovering addicts to stay.
Okay, so I was able to cut that up a little bit because a lot of it is irrelevant to what I wanted to talk about today. But this stupid bitch, as soon as I got to Amity, within the first few days, there were me and some other people. And she took us all down to Department of Economic Security and coached us on what we were supposed to say. Now, we were supposed to tell them that we were homeless and didn't have any income. And in other words, basically lie. Now, when I got to the office, I went back and I was talking to the caseworker, and I told them that I was having cognitive dissonance and I wanted to write down something to put in my file. And that was that I was being coerced into doing this, number one. And they gave me the card right away, but I put it in my wallet, but I'm supposed to give it to them. So I went back out to the lobby and I saw her, and she goes, "Well, where's your card?" I said, "Well, they're going to put it in the mail." And she goes, "Oh, let me go back there and talk to them." That's in there. Kind of like that. And so what happened was I said, "Well, I know where exactly she is. I'll walk back there and check." And so I did. I gave them the card. And why is this an issue? Well, not only is Amity getting money from the tribes, the insurance companies, grants, all of that stuff, but they're taking people's DES food stamp cards and they keep them. And she has that little machine in her office where they swipe it and basically steal your money. And that's the honest to God's truth. That's what happened to me. Now, let's just say, for example, that they're doing that with 200 people. Back then it was $194. You multiply that by 12 months over a period of a year, and over 200 people, that's almost $500,000 right there that they are it should be illegal. If it's not illegal, man, it certainly is a gray area, and it's not honest. They want you to first of all lie and to a government agency and tell them that you're destitute and homeless and all of this stuff. And uh, but I think I'm being conservative. With the actually it's like $465,800, something like that. But that's being conservative because there are families there that they have all their kids there too. And so when you factor that in, it's got to be a lot more. It's got to be a lot more. And when I was there, they had a credit card that had a $14 million limit on it. And like I said, this is important because it just shows you the corruption on how they operate. And the other part about it is you're not even allowed to, uh, you know, set your own diet, as it were. They're using your money, they're buying the food, which is, they take away all your protein. Cults do that. Makes people weak-minded. A lot of cults fall into that category of specialized dietary restrictions. Now, once in a while, they would serve meat, but sometimes they would just show a little, give you a little bowl of with some broth with a seaweed leaf in it, and you're supposed to go on that until the next morning. And so, yeah, they had their specialized diet. Now, the director, he's going to be in the next film. We're going to talk about this guy. His name is Mark Schuttinger. He'll be in the next video, but he says, well, what good is it if you get clean and sober and you walk out and die of a heart attack? First of all, that's nobody's business. Not any of them. It's not, it's not on their, um, you know, they shouldn't even be involved in that. And anyway, so I wanted to show you this. The next video, we're going to talk about Mark, like I said, and uh, we're going to get into some detail on some of this other stuff that, like in the first video, what I showed you that's in these books. Uh, for example, we talked about the Synanon game where they go in. They don't call it that anymore. They call it a forum, but they get you in a room, put you in a circle, and you start yelling and screaming at you. And speaking of diet, there was this one guy. His name was James Enoch, and he's passed away now because they convinced him that this was his last chance, that he would never, ever get recovery unless it happened there. And, but anyway, he just, couldn't lose the weight. And the director, Mark Schuttinger's calling him a fat fuck and just belittling him and berating him. And you know what it's like? It's like a pack of dogs. Once the chief dog or the head dog, the top dog starts in ranting and raving about you and saying things that are hurtful and it's just like the Synanon game, only they call it a forum, and they just browbeat you and beat you up emotionally. As I mentioned before, it's just like some of these weird Pentecostal organizations out there that will beat the demons out of you with a belt. So, anyway, I think this would be a good place to end this particular video. Stay tuned. Leave comments if you wish. And anyway, the next we're going to talk about the staff and the directors and some of this other stuff that I mentioned in the first video. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here and have a great day.